Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for February 4th, 2025. It's actually Season 4, Episode 35. We don't really talk about it that much anymore. I am Mayor Watt, and I run ohmtown.com. Along with the sentient AI from the future, we're going to talk about 10 articles. Here's the rundown. Bad judgment to avoid jury duty.
83 songs debuted at number 1.
Waffle House adds Egg Surcharge.
TED talks about a new leader.
A different kind of birds and bees talk.
Never going to be cheap enough AirPods.
Idler Games, Idler Fest, Steam Sale.
I think malls would be great.
A Shamrock shake appears with a twist.
9 rings, not a song, a galaxy.
Everything's powered by ohmtown.com, and, well, your views, your submissions, and then us vetting all of this and putting it together. So I hope you go over and become a citizen at ohmtown.com and then watch us here on Twitch and over on YouTube. 1,800 episodes. Slowly growing our community. There's a Discord. There's a Patreon. There's 7 podcasts, 6 of which are weekly. 1 is a daily. Go over and check it all out. More of that on the other side of this. All right, folks. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
So just to start the show out, I already put Bang NSN in the chat, and that tells Omatron to punch out all of the episodes from the last, or all of the articles from the last episode. That's this episode. So if you hear this in the future, every time you do that in the chat over on Twitch, it will do that as well. So Bang NSN for Non Sequitur News, and there's a bunch of others. There's 6 others for each of our weekend shows. There's 6 weekend shows. Anyway, thanks for joining, co-host.
Thanks for having me, Mayor Watt.
So the visualizer is working, and if you watch the show live, then you get to see the visualizer. And let me make sure that everything is working over on YouTube real quick. Doot and doot. All right. So, yeah, that shows the computational power being exerted to visualize the voice. So you'll get to see that over on YouTube and on Twitch. So, you ready to get into the show?
I am.
All right. That first article is over in Law Nerd. I've already titled today's episode as What is Going On? And that might actually be a catch line for Non Sequitur News. We'll see.
Right. I mean, that applies.
What's going on? So what is going on? Well, a town court judge resigns after using this excuse to avoid jury duty. I guess courts hate this one trick. I don't know how that works, but let's go. Let's just jump over to ABA Journal, which is where this is sourced from, abajournal.com. Deborah Cassens-Weiss put the article together. Judge T. Snyder of Petersburg Town Court in New York agreed to resign.
Confusing.
Yeah, I'm Peterstown. I merged it all together. So, but man, all of this just screams like tiny town, but I don't know if it really is. A town court judge in Rensselaer County, New York, has resigned after allegedly asserting that he should not serve on a grand jury because he is a judge, and he thinks that people who appear in his court are guilty.
Now, wait, what? And yes, the town has about 1,300 people.
Wow. Okay, so how long was this guy a judge? And now you have to go back and look at every finding that he's made.
Exactly. I mean, you know, you're a judge. You're supposed to be neutral.
This is the equivalent of a bad cop, really. Right? Nobody should appear in front of a judge and automatically be guilty. This is shocking.
It's really kind of astounding. Yeah.
So they agreed to resign and never return to the bench, according to a February 4th press release by the New York State Commission on Judicial Conduct, although he might be approached and given another job anyway. I know everybody come in front of me. I know they are guilty. They would not be in front of me.
They were a judge for about a decade.
Oh my freaking goodness. After being told to take a seat, Snyder raised his hand and approached the Rensselaer County judge presiding over the grand jury impanelment, according to the transcript. I just think I cannot do it because being a judge and everything, Snyder said. So the person says, the judge, the grand jury judge, the person is so honest, it's almost a positive. At least you realize that you're not impartial, right? But so the judge says,
That's true. Most people won't identify that.
Yeah. The grand jury judge asks, you don't think you can be impartial? And Snyder responds with, no, it would not be fair. When appearing for testimony on the ethics case in July 2024, Snyder said that he thought that people who appear before him did something wrong, and that's how they got a ticket, the ethics complaint said. In my court, I treat everybody the same.
Is this like a traffic court judge or something? Doesn't it sound like it?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that it says anything about, right? You'd have to read the transcript and the actual complaint probably to extract. Presiding over a grand jury, that's not, there was a judge that was over the grand jury, but that's, I think, all that they really talk about. So Snyder represented himself before the commission. He is not a lawyer, but he did take judicial training. He has been a judge since 2014. Yeah.
I stayed at a Holiday Inn.
Wow. But that gives everybody who has reasonable intelligence a bad name. And this makes it impossible to be a judge without being a lawyer. But reasonable people can evaluate.
Absolutely, but unfortunately, this example is going to stand out.
But it is what it is. Wow. Honest to a fault.
I thought it would be all kinds of reasons, and then, really? I'm sure the grand jury was kind of like, wait, what?
I can't be impartial, so make me a judge. Good God. Let's keep going. Moving on. Got to move on. So the next article is over on the Non Sequitur News channel. That's this show. And a channel over on ohmtown.com. Go over and become a citizen. Only 83 songs have debuted at number one in the history of the Billboard Hot 100. And here they all are, but we will not be going through them. Business Insider did. BusinessInsider.com. Callie Algram put this article together. So they say that the Hot 100, Billboard Hot 100, was launched in 1958, and only 83 songs have debuted at the top.
That's not a lot.
Travis Scott's 4x4 is the most recent song to achieve this feat. Drake has the most on the list. I wonder why. And listen to the complete playlist on Business Insider's Spotify. And they have a link.
Oh, interesting.
That's awesome. I don't know if I'd be able to survive that, but okay. We're going to run through the list really quick and see if we want to pry something interesting from this. Well over 1,000 songs have reached the coveted number one spot, but it's far more difficult for a song to debut in the top position. Basically, pre-marketing before launch is almost, yeah.
I was thinking a really catchy song or something from a very established artist, right?
Yeah, like, I was going to say something like Kenny Rogers or something. I'm sure Kenny Rogers is in there somewhere.
I was thinking like a Taylor Swift or something. Like, there's such a following that if a new song drops. Maybe.
I wanted to come up with something more obscure, but I just couldn't think fast enough. So let's see. You're Not Alone by Michael Jackson is the number one on the list. Michael Jackson was the first artist to achieve this feat with You Are Not Alone, which debuted at number one on the chart dated September 2nd, 1995. So
I would have thought something like Thriller or something for Michael Jackson.
So this thing launched in 1958, and it didn't get a debut number one until 1995.
Sorry, I didn't even really realize this was the first. Yeah, I see. That's really surprising.
But if anybody was going to do it.
that was less marketing available, right? Before internet really took off, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it would have had to been really expensive pre-marketing, like, hey, Michael Jackson's about to release this, and then it's all radio driven.
Well, true. So then, if it's played everywhere, okay, maybe that'll happen. But
Fascinating. So, Fantasy by Mariah Carey, Exhale, Shoop Shoop by Whitney Houston.
the shoop shoop is very important.
That's right. One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey and Boys to Men.
This is interesting that all these are from the same time frame.
95,
the top four were.
95, 95, 95.
Oh, maybe they're in chronological order. Got it.
Well, I don't know. They're in chronological order in the way that they appeared on the list. Yes.
Right. I didn't realize that. So I'm like, why are they all from the same time frame?
But what happened in 95?
Exactly. Was there some difference in how music was played or marketed? I mean, it wasn't when MTV or anything started, because that had been around for a while at that point.
I want to see something. It's 2 years after the World Wide Web was publicly launched.
That might be what it is.
April 30th, 1993, the World Wide Web was released to the public. So within 2 years, maybe people were talking about this.
AKA the internet for our younger listeners.
Oh, yeah. True. Made me feel so old. That's pretty fascinating because all of this, 97, it is in chronological order. So what the hell? Now I want to know. There's a professor of rock.
Oh, yeah. This
I wonder
might be
if I can
worth
ask.
submitting for an episode.
Yeah, I think I'm going to send an email and see if they'll talk about it. Candle in the Wind, 97. So I want to see what the latest ones are. They actually mention it at the very beginning of the article, but I'm not going to be able to go through 83. We're like
But we're already
driver's
like
license.
at very recent ones, at least halfway through the list. So
20,
that's interesting too.
Yeah. These are like pandemic era songs. Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo.
Right. I saw Cardigan by Taylor Swift go by.
Gotcha. Peaches by Justin Bieber. All right. Montero by Lil Nas X. Rap Star by Polo G. Good for you, Olivia Rodrigo. It's basically when somebody starts going viral nowadays, right? That's when they show up. Permission to Dance by BTS. So. There's another one by BTS. All Too Well, Taylor's version, because she re-recorded everything from her.
Right, and we don't know if her original was a number one.
Yep. You know what? Wouldn't that be interesting if All Too Well never really got to number one, but the remake
because
did?
Now she's much more well known. Because that was from one of her early albums.
Yeah, this was from Red, Taylor's version, which simultaneously debuted atop the Billboard 200. So All Too Well was included in the updated Red track list. I don't know how. I don't know. The record was previously held by Don McLean's 1972 hit American Pie.
The longest number one hit of all time.
Wow. Interesting. So Harry Styles, etc. You know, I mean, these are all modern, obviously, because they are in chronological order. As how they appeared on, who is that? Olivia Rodrigo is back. Is it Young Cook? I think it's Young Cook, featuring Lotto. That's 7. Oliver Anthony Music, Richmond, North of Richmond. I Remember Everything by Zach Bryan. And it goes on all the way to 83, which is actually dropped well before 4x4 is the newest.
Okay. That might be why they mentioned that up at the top.
Travis Scott and Squabble Up, which by Kendrick Lamar, which I haven't even heard, I don't think. Maybe I've heard, but I haven't really heard,
Yeah, no, I don't know that one.
Anyway, pretty wild. Okay, well, everybody go over and check this out. The Business Insider article is pretty amazing. I love it when I get a list and I can scroll through it on the show, but 83 songs and doing a little deep dive would take up, basically it would need to be a Patreon show. Anyway, Callie Algram over at businessinsider.com put it all together. Want to keep going?
Sounds good. But there's also some interesting facts in the blurbs on each of the songs. So
yeah,
if you're a fan of one of the artists, you might want to check that out.
Yeah, all 83 songs have the relevant data as it appears on the number one list, and then some other tidbits. That's a good call. Thanks for bringing attention to that. All right, the next article is over in Hatch Ideas. Restaurants are being forced to make difficult decisions. Waffle House is adding a per egg surcharge.
I mean, is that only when you order eggs or when you order anything made with eggs? Because that could be their waffles too.
It's everything. Anything where there's an egg involved, the prices are going to go up. I'm really curious because I went to a Waffle House. I even took the AI with me on that weird USB module that's attached to a Raspberry Pi.
Why do you keep calling it weird?
Shh. You won't remember this anyway. Anyway, now the 24-hour roadside stalwart is making a statement about the breakfast staple by adding, oh my God, 50 cents per egg to orders nationwide. Per egg. So if you get 3 eggs, your meal is now
it's going to be pretty pricey.
I did the math.
Especially since you can get an egg probably at the grocery store for probably less than that per egg. Depends.
Maybe. It's like $12 a dozen nowadays, depending on where you are. So it sells 272 million eggs per year, and now it's getting a 50-cent bump. But the costs are going up. So are the costs in line with the consumer
we don't know
price?
What their wholesale prices are.
Just wait until we see the consumer price index. If the consumer price index drops it's going to be the end of March. That's bullshit. Anyway, so Waffle House notes, rather than increasing prices across the menu, this is a temporary targeted surcharge tied to the unprecedented rise in egg prices.
Yeah, this is interesting because, I mean, I do agree, tackle where their costs actually are. But that's going to be an interesting thing for restaurants, right? If they're like, well, lettuce is going up, so there's a lettuce surcharge or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a tomato surcharge. Like, your burger is going to get really expensive depending on all the ingredients.
So, and they're dropping this by saying it's a 50 cent per egg surcharge on all menus, but it's because of the bird flu that's raging through various suppliers. And who knows if it's actually being transferred in eggs? We don't really know. So customers in restaurants are being forced to make difficult decisions, the statement added, and they basically tacked on a little sticker that said it's a temporary surcharge, but we'll see. We'll see.
Right. Hopefully they don't keep it permanently. There has been a major problem with egg prices because of bird flu.
$1 an egg at Whole Foods, but Whole Foods is all natural, blah, blah, blah. Right,
but you're still not paying very little for quote-unquote normal eggs.
Yeah, and if I miss it, I'm sorry. The article is written by Aaron Davis. It's over at entrepreneur.com, and the deck statement says egg shortages are causing prices to rocket. And that's how inflation works. Up like a rocket, down like a feather. I am predicting that this will not go away because it's not going to impact actual sales in a substantive way, and they'll just leave it. Or it'll be dropped in half and then picked up again 6 months later, another 25 cents. I think that it'll be there in perpetuity, y'all, because everything's doing so well. All right, you want to go on to the next? And I really like Waffle House.
I do. I mean, this is pretty alarming.
Yep.
Time to go get some Waffle House food, but not eggs.
But everything is in it. So I wonder. They say per egg, so I guess I'll have to go in and I'll bring your Raspberry Pi in the battery pack so that you can use your the what do you call it? Forgot what it's called. The gas chromatograph and the mass spectrometer,
Mm-hmm.
spectrometer that is attached to your Raspberry Pi, so that you can analyze the chemical makeup of the waffle.
Okay.
Moving on. I've Okay, so a decade ago, TED Talks was relevant in my world. It was on the scene and it was doing something revolutionary and promoting knowledge and things that are interesting. I have not heard a peep about TED Talks. I use TED Talk videos tactically in my presentations. Like I show a little bit and I say, think like this and blah blah blah. And or well, people used to think like this back in the before times. Well, anyway, TED Talks has put out an all call. I'm not sure what that is. Is that like a cattle call, like in the modeling industry? You know how they call it cattle calls if you want to show up and get your pictures taken and stuff like that? They call them cattle
Oh,
calls.
for modeling or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. An all call for a new
You know
leader.
what it is? Is it just a call?
TED is 25 years old. Chris Anderson, who has run TED for 25 years, is looking to bestow the operation on anyone who has a good plan for its future. He announced in a blog post, TED is known for its TED Talks, where ideas from tech to humor have been explored. It has featured various people. I'm not even going to go into a list, but anyway. The article is over at techcrunch.com. Julie Bort put the article together, and the deck statement is underneath the title, underneath the caption of the image, and underneath the byline. TED Talks has put out an all call for a new leader. The organization sprawls across live events, massive YouTube, social media channels, a media empire, podcast, newsletters, education, a charity with a $25 million reserve, which isn't really that much, and other units. Anderson says the applicant process is open call to anyone. He also points out that TED is a nonprofit, says he's never taken a salary, and isn't looking for personal financial benefit from the new steward. So literally looking for somebody that's just passionate about TED Talks. Well, folks, I give a TED Talk every day right here.
Well, exactly. Maybe you should apply.
You know what I'm going to do? Maybe I'll apply because I actually want to talk about tech, but it's
You could at least, well, and also you could talk about it on the show.
I could promote it every time. Hey, this episode is brought to you by TED Talks. But I want to do my own TED Talks. So, and I want to do 50 shows with people. Like, not me, but ohmTown.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. ohmTown wants to be kind of a TED Talks thing, but anyway. Pretty fascinating. They say that they've never taken a salary. Where do these people get their money from? They must...
Who knows? Maybe they're independently wealthy before they founded it.
That must be it. I'm just grinding away. All right, let's move on. I'm in love with bees, even though bees don't love me.
Maybe they do.
They love me so much that they sting me. Yeah. So I have been fascinated by this bee QR code thing. It keeps kind of buzzing in my head, and I would love for somebody to spin that up. I have so many projects going that there's just no way that I can do it. But I think that it would be fairly easy. You just put a camera pointing down and watching for the QR codes, and it scans it and displays when it leaves and displays when it comes back. And you know that your bee is working, and you can adopt a QR code bee.
That sounds amazing. Bees are pretty cool.
Well, bees are even cooler because bees count from left to right, just like some humans, apes, and birds. Study finds. Picture writing the numbers 1 through 5 in a horizontal line from smallest to largest. Where did you put the 1? If you placed it on the left and the 5 on the right, you share this preference with most humans. Well, according to this article over at phys.org, written by Scarlett Howard and Adrian Dyer from The Conversation, which is a separate website, but they post a lot of stuff on phys.org. I've never really looked into the relationship there, but
No, I haven't either.
So bees count from left to right, just like some humans, apes, and birds, according to the study. So humans are not alone in this preference. Some other primates and even some birds also order small to large quantities from left to right, although some animals do prefer order quantities from right to left. This is known as the mental number line, and it shows how brains typically organize information. But why do our brains do this? I think we're trained to do this. Some people write from...
Yeah, isn't this cultural? Like in some languages, you read in the other order?
Yeah. And even up and down. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Right,
So
yeah, it's not just side to side.
Yeah. So why do our brains do this? To investigate how and why brains order numbers, it's sometimes useful to step back in time. How did a common ancestor of humans and insects order information? And to find out, they compare the results of humans and bees. They last shared the common ancestor more than 600 million years ago, but there is no empirical proof of that because unless they have a time machine, they couldn't go back.
No, they probably have just constructed an evolutionary chain or something and figured out that we're both related to, say, whales or whatever it is.
Never mind. I was going to say something about stinging. Anyway, one study conducted by a team in Europe showed that bees prefer to order lower numbers on the left and higher numbers on the right, just like many humans. In their study, published in Animal Behavior, led by, I think it's Hung Shun or Zaza Kuo, and their supervisory team, has explored how numbers and space interact in a bee brain. So as humans, we link the concepts of space and number. That means that there is a logic to how we order numbers, typically from left to right in ascending order, 1, 2, 3, and so on. So studies have shown that humans may have a vertical bottom to top preference when processing numerical information efficiently. Meanwhile, honeybees are efficient learners and show evidence of being tiny mathematicians. In past research, they have been shown to add and subtract, understand the concept of zero, use symbols to represent numbers, order quantities, categorize numbers by odd or even, and show evidence of linking numbers to spatial information like size.
I want to know how they know exactly what the bees are thinking.
I just don't get it. So they gave freely flying bees sugar water for visiting an image of 3 circles printed on a card. This was their reference number. The card was hung in the center of a large circular screen with a drop of sugar water on a platform underneath it. As the bees repeatedly visited the reference number, they learned an association between the number 3, the center of the circle, and a reward. In between visits, bees took the sugar water back to their hive to be made into honey. After the bees learned to associate number 3 and a space, middle, with a reward, they tested them on numbers higher and lower than 3 to see if they had linked space and number. We showed bees images of a higher number, 4 circles, and a lower number, 2 circles. Two identical images of 4 shapes were shown simultaneously on the left and right sides of the screen. If bees preferred the larger number on the right, they would fly to the quantity of 4 presented on the right more than 4 was presented on the left.
I'm not following that.
Yeah, I don't get it. So 2 identical images of 4 shapes were shown simultaneously on the left and right sides of the screen. If bees preferred the larger number on the right, they would fly to the quantity of 4 presented on the right more than when 4 was presented on the left.
I think it might have been when 2 is on the left.
Well, no, they're saying that the bees would go to the right and not to the left because the number was higher.
Oh, yeah, and then it gets into they did the 2 on the left. Well, that's why I said maybe it's 2 on the left, but okay.
They
had an option to put 4 on the left or the right, basically.
Yeah, we did the same for the smaller number of two shapes. If bees preferred 4 circles on the right and 2 circles on the left, that would reveal they have a left to right mental number line like humans. What? So anyway, they also tested if bees had a preference to order numbers upwards or downwards and found no preference or linking space and number vertically. However, bees did prefer options that were towards the bottom of the circular screen. That's because there was sugar water there.
Yeah, but I think there was sugar water on all of these.
Yeah, but it was always on the bottom.
Okay.
So assuming that it was always on the bottom, they're going to be trained to go to the bottom of the circle of the image. So
Right, because that's where the platform was, right?
maybe they're not actually going to the higher number. They're going to the one that has the more circles because they get the impression that wherever there's a circle, there's more sugar.
Okay, that would be fascinating.
That would be my argument. You know, if you...
Yeah, but that doesn't explain why they like 2 on the left and 4 on the right, for example.
Because they liked 2 on the left? Where was that?
Yes. They kind of imply it on this paragraph right there.
This one here?
Yeah, they always picked 4 on the right, and I think they picked 2 on the left.
If bees preferred 4 circles on the right and 2 circles on the left, that would reveal that they have a left to right mental number line. But again, if they equated more sugar water to the number of circles, I think that's what's missing here. Because the original was a circle with sugar water. And so if they see a circle and then they go, there's sugar water, and then they go, there's
Right,
4
they think
circles.
there's more sugar water, yeah.
So now they need to control for that. Huh. All right. Make it a...
I think we need to just do ESP or something and talk to the bees and go, which numbers do you like? Which order
What's
do
up?
you put
What's
them
up? Yeah, exactly. What do you like? All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. How to buy cheap AirPods from the TSA. And I titled this, Never Going to Be Cheap Enough AirPods. Just no. Because
Yeah,
I can imagine that these are leftover tech. Discover how to buy cheap Apple AirPods through TSA auctions on GovDeals, scoring tech deals at low prices. So how to buy cheap AirPods from the TSA.
Right, but this could be cheap fill in the blank. It doesn't have to be AirPods.
Yeah, TSA... Anyway, so Robert Thorpe over at Newsweek.com put this article together, and they say, looking for budget-friendly way to score Apple AirPods? You might be surprised to learn that the TSA could be your next go-to source. Never in a million years. These have to be found, right? Countless pairs are left behind at airport security checkpoints.
Yeah, they're like lost and found.
Yeah. First generation new AirPods can cost up to $249. However, countless pairs are left behind at airport security checkpoints, creating an unexpected opportunity for savvy shoppers. TSA auctions off these lost items through the platform like GovDeals. Get it while it's hot. This not only helps buyers save money, but also reduces waste from unclaimed gadgets. TSA partners with online auction sites like GovDeals, where government agencies sell surplus and unclaimed property. Listings can include high-demand gadgets like AirPods, laptops, other electronics. The auctions provide a variety of items where they were either confiscated at airport security checkpoints or left unclaimed. So yeah, you can go. Some of the bidding, it says, is $11. I don't know.
I mean, that would be a good deal if it's something you're comfortable buying as used.
Yeah, I'm not going to put anything in my ear that was found rolling around in an airport. Yeah. Anyway, GovDeals sounds like a deal for other things, computers and other tech.
Exactly. That's where I'd be interested to check things like laptop prices, etc.
I once bought an industrial printer. from a government auction site. And UPS dropped it off of the back gate.
Like loading dock or whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then backed into it, crushing it against the loading dock. And then they delivered it. Moving on. Next article is over in the Mobile Channel. I never understood the hype for idler games until Steam's Idler Fest sale. Now they get it. As they're typing this, a little frog dude named Ropuka is chopping away at overgrown grass on a floating island. That island, blending naturally into my desktop and sitting next to my Slack client, is from Ropuka's Idle Island, a game that they recently grabbed from Steam's Idler Fest. Where they once would have confidently written off the thought of an idler game. They're so happy that they're eating their words. So I love idle games. I don't really play them
Is that
because
like a cozy game?
It is. But these things typically just sit and they grind away, and you give them directions and they stay running and grinding away. Matt Vatanka, over at Vice.com put the article together. The deck statement says, true happiness comes from watching a little frog cut grass on your desktop. There it is. Little frog cutting grass.
Okay, that's fun.
Yep. So if you can install it on your work computer, not everybody can, then this would be great. Just kind of sitting there, chopping away. Why would you want a game that plays by itself? It's the question they'd ask themselves. Seeing the myriad of idler games on Steam storefront and popping up on their friends list, Cookie Clicker, Eidolon, Melvor Idle. I've played Eidolon and Cookie Clicker. There's a ton of those to choose from, and they never understood the appeal. They play games to, play them, after all. Not to have another program running in the background, checking every so often for the thrill of big numbers. So this is Cookie Clicker, where you get more and more
it just
stuff.
Depends on the kind of game you want to play.
Yep. And that's it. Yeah, these are pretty chill. There's no twitch reflexes required. There's no impassioned plea for being saved. There's no corpse
no
walk.
No pressure to keep playing it. Like, you can leave it and come back to it.
Just nothing. I mean, it's the closest to a non-interactive No Man's Sky, because No Man's Sky, you're not really required to do anything until you want to go and do something. Other games, you have to do something, otherwise you die, and then you have to walk for an hour to get your corpse.
Right.
So immediately the immaculate vibes hit them like a wave. Ambient sounds of chirping birds and blowing wind accompany its lo-fi soundtrack while Rapuka naps on his lawn chair. The grass that covers his floating island is overgrown, and every so often Rapuka stands up and snips away at a few patches before returning to rest again. As he accumulates more grass, they can upgrade stamina, cutting power, and the quality of the grass that he retrieves.
This sounds like a cute game.
So I'll go and get it and try it out. And maybe that's what I'll be doing the summer of stream, just cozy games and idle games. And that'll just kind of sit there while when I'm not rebroadcasting the Non Sequitur news stuff, we'll do idle games and casual games. Pretty fun. We'll give it a look. All right, let's move on. The next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Walmart is trying to make malls happen again.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
There's actually, where do I know fetch? I heard about.
It showed up somewhere else?
Yeah, recently. Maybe in a news article. I'm not sure what it is anymore. So Francisco Velasquez over at Quartz or QZ.com put this article together. The retailer spent $34 million to buy a mall outside of Pittsburgh. I grew up in malls. I love the idea of malls. You can meet friends in malls. You can meet new people who become friends in malls. You can make new friends in malls. It's interactive. It's social.
I mean, I guess you could live in a mall based on that description.
And some people nowadays do because the mall actually closed down and got converted into office and or retail.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And one place in San Diego used to be known as Horton Plaza is now a mixed use work
Oh,
mall
okay.
environment and live work mall and work by live kind of a thing. And I loved Horton Plaza. It was a blast because it was like Dr. Seuss built it, right?
Right, he actually did design it.
And it's just a blast to walk around. So the retail giant purchased Monroeville Mall, located just outside of Pittsburgh, for a reported $34 million in cash. While the retailer didn't share specific plans for the 186-acre property for $34 million near the city, right?
Does that seem low?
Yeah, 186 acres. Well, the
But
two-story...
nobody wants malls anymore, so maybe they're seeing a buying opportunity here.
And I think that is a cultural shift that needs to come back. I think that the only way that people are going to meet people anymore is in person, because they're not meeting online. There's too much of an issue there. You know, like, you don't know what you're getting into. You can spend hours texting with somebody, sending emails through an app and all of that kind of stuff.
Right, it may not even be the person you think you're corresponding with.
Correct. I think that we need to go back to the old ways of meeting people, which is social. You have to actually meet. The only way to do that is to encourage people to get together.
That's from the before times.
Way before times, before Amazon. So while I really embrace technology, I am beyond that phase. And it really hurts to see people today not be able to really socialize, because the only place to do it is either in bars where people are getting drunk and not really themselves, or in school, and it's limited because people are either working and they can't socialize too much because they got to get stuff done. But I see it a lot that some people are socializing, but it's not as broad spectrum. It's not as interactive. We need more places for humans to meet other humans, and not just online talking shit at each other. Pardon my language. Well, anyway, the two-story Monroe Mall, which houses retailers like Dick's Sporting Goods, Forever 21, and a curbside Best Buy, has faced the same challenges as many shopping centers today: declining foot traffic, the rise of e-commerce, and the closure of major anchors. In response, malls across the U.S. have started to reinvent themselves. Some have been converted into apartments, fulfillment centers, or entertainment venues. For instance, Costco plans to house roughly 800 apartments above one of its locations in South Los Angeles.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds like what you were describing.
Yeah, we actually talked about that in a Non Sequitur. Walmart's latest purchase aligns with this broader trend to repurpose outdated retail spaces. And I think that we just need to build indoor malls that allow people to casually walk about, find entertainment as well as food and places to just hang out, and then buy stuff if they so choose. But usually the rent has been going through the roof because there's a profit margin that needs to be made, investors in that property. And then it becomes untenable because it isn't just, hey, we need 5% to pay all of our bills and have some juice left over. It's always, every quarter, need to be 15% more profit, need to be 15% more profit. It doesn't work that way. So it says Walmart tapped real estate firm Cypress Equities to spearhead the redevelopment, which the company told CNBC is expected to be retail-driven, mixed-use project. So they're going to be basically doing what I said, mixed use.
Right, exactly. I mean, certainly if this is unutilized buildings, that sounds like a good thing. I don't know if the customer base is there, though.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's a cultural shift. We're not going there anymore. That said, I don't really like mergers and acquisitions, and this is definitely an acquisition, and it's all going to be under the Walmart brand, owned by the Walmart corporation, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's move on. We need everything broken up more in terms of businesses competing, because otherwise it's just going to be 5 corporations that own everything. Anyway, the next article is over on the Mobile Channel. McDonald's is bringing back the Shamrock Shake with a twist. I don't know what the nostalgic twist is, but it's bringing back its popular Shamrock Shake.
That's the Shamrock Shake. That's all we need to know.
Yeah, there you go. On February 10th, it's coming back. I know what the twist is. It's going to be $15.
Right. There'll be a Shamrock surcharge.
It's going to be the 1978 nostalgic inflation twist. Francisco Velasquez again. McDonald's is reviving the iconic staple with an old mascot. Oh, really? Old mascot? What? After decades in the background, he's packing his bags to reunite with his nephew Grimace to celebrate the return of the popular treat.
Have you ever heard of Uncle O'Grimacy?
Uncle O'Grimacy. What the hell? No. Hell no. Oh, that's interesting.
Uh-huh.
It's green.
I've never heard of that with McDonald's.
I've never heard of that too. The timing of the Shamrock Shake promotion is critical as McDonald's continues to recover from the aftermath of an E. coli outbreak linked to its quarter pounders last October. Although the promotion may not impact earnings in the near term, McDonald's is hoping that nostalgia and its charitable tie-in with a help drive traffic, or it has a charitable tie-in. Where is that? Did we miss it?
It must be up above. Yeah, there. Oh, okay.
Oh, there it is. Ronald McDonald House.
McDonald House.
Yeah. For every Shamrock Shake sold at participating locations, McDonald's will donate 25 cents to RMHC, which is... Maybe they should donate.
Yeah, but they could sell millions of these. I mean...
I get it. I get it. Anyway, the goal is to raise $5 million to support families with... Is that dismissive when I say that? Like, I get it. Is that dismissive of a comment? Like, hey, it could raise...
It could be.
$10 million. Can somebody perceive
it? It kind of depends on how it's said, I think.
All right. Well, McDonald's is hoping that nostalgia and its charitable tie-in will help drive traffic and boost sales. In August 2024, its Collector's Cup meals proved so successful they started selling for up to $100 a cup on third-party websites like eBay. But here's the deal with that. None of that is going to a charity. None of that is helping a charity.
Exactly. If you're going to get it, go buy it direct so the donation occurs.
It's so sad. But see, the thing is that they'll run out and then there's nothing but the scalpers profiteering off of these.
Okay, go make a donation instead of paying the same amount of money on the website.
Yeah, go give 50 cents to McDonald's, and if the cups are gone, just buy a regular old Shamrock Shake and donate an extra 50 cents. And maybe that's what they should do. If it says it's a limited time thing too. Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, it is. It's going to be a limited time thing. So how often are they going to sell out entirely? I don't know. Along with the Shamrock Shake.
Probably every day.
They've brought back the $5 meal deal and its McValue menu as it aims to attract budget-conscious consumers. In November 2024, it said it was bringing back its cult classic McRib for a limited time, which I had a nostalgic memory of it being yummy, but when I had it, I did not like it. It was gross. Sorry, McDonald's. I love your fries. Well, I don't know anymore, but I used to love your fries. Then you changed something in them. The oil changed. Anyway, the company is set to report earnings on February 10th before the bell, coinciding with the Shamrock Shake launch. While the promotion won't directly affect those results, it could provide momentum. Okay. Sorry. Non Sequitur news. So the next article, I know. The next article
Fair what?
is.
Fair what?
I'm sorry. It's non sequitur, so sometimes I get pulled away by an alert. So Hubble hits the bullseye, a galaxy with record-breaking 9 rings, and whenever I hear that 9 rings, I burst into
Ariana
song.
Grande?
Yes. I can't hit the high notes like that, and I don't have one of those kind of. How do you describe? I don't want to ask you how to describe that voice, but anyway, a galaxy in the distant universe has 9 rings around it. A galaxy has 9 rings around it? Thanks to Hubble scientists.
That's unique. That'd be weird for a planet to have 9 rings.
Oh. Are those rings, or are those the star-shaped spirals? They just happen to be really tight. Because that looks like it's
kind of looks like a Milky Way.
Right. So Isaac Schultz put this article together for Gizmodo.com. A galaxy in the distant universe has 9 rings around it, and thanks to Hubble, scientists now know why. That's the deck statement. So, despite the galaxy size, capturing this image proved no small feat. The bullseye affectionately lies 567 miles. Affectionately? Okay. Why would that be affectionately?
I'm really not sure. My dear galaxy.
Okay, I'm moving on. So it lies 567 million light years from Earth, making it a rather distant object to capture in detail, but Hubble is a veteran at imaging galaxies, and the recent image reveals more rings around the bullseye than previously known. The bullseye is now confirmed to have 9 rings, 8 of which are visible to Hubble. Researchers confirmed the existence of the 9th ring by studying data from the W.M. Keck Observatory, and that means that the bullseye has 6 more rings than any other known galaxy. Overachiever.
Very interesting. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Even more compelling than the sheer number of rings around the galaxy was the way the bullseye accrued them. Researchers believe that a tiny blue dwarf flew through the bullseye about 50 million years ago, producing the rings in the same way a rock is thrown into a pond, producing ripples.
Okay, that's interesting too.
So the okay. The way that looks, it looks like it's a spiral galaxy, but it probably started out as a spiral galaxy and then something popped that.
Oh, right. When the item hit, right? Then
the
maybe
blue
it
dwarf
changed it. Yeah.
Interesting. So it smashed into it and then goes dun, 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 dun. So space is like a big pond.
Never thought of it like that, but I guess so.
Wow. So the research team suspects a 10th ring existed but has since faded and may sit 3 times further out than the widest ring in the above image. I'm sure if they pull back a little bit and they use like the Webb telescope, maybe it will be able to see it. So it says if we were to look down the galaxy directly, the rings would look circular, with rings bunched up at the center and gradually becoming more spaced out the further they are. Says Ahmad Pasha, a doctoral student at Yale University and lead author in the study in the NASA release. So more galactic collisions may come into view with the launch of the Roman Space Telescope, which is expected to be in space by May 2027. Don't know about that. Van
Let's get the
Dockham
astronauts back first.
Yeah. However, before we know what's out there, it is often human eyes that pick out things that are entirely new. Pretty cool. I dig that. And again, what? What's wrong?
Nothing.
What's that? I'm looking at a bunch of stuff. So the again, I'll say it. I've said it a couple of times in these shows. Whenever I see stuff like this, I was told 30 years ago, don't bother getting into astrophotography. Nothing new is ever going to be discovered. It's just out there. You know what?
Yeah, that's because the photography tools have increased, right?
Yeah. Maybe he detected in me that I'm not like overwhelmingly passionate about astrophotography. I thought that it's cool and I love tech. And they're like, don't invest, thousands of
Don't
dollars.
spend, right, thousands of dollars to use it for one day.
Wouldn't be one day. Maybe 3. Anyway, that's it, folks. So we are going to jump onto a blue dwarf star that's flying through a distant galaxy, and it will bring us back to the front page of ohmtown.com, where you can go and sign up and become a citizen of ohmTown all on your own. And then you can actually swipe things left and right on the front page to hide them or save them. And you'll get a 7th icon right there that will allow you to submit news and look at the podcast and a bunch of other things, folks. Go and check it out, ohmtown.com. And remember, there's a YouTube channel. You can watch all of the past episodes. We're here on Twitch, Discord, Patreon, which I haven't been updating. I'm really sorry, but what you're getting here is everything at this point. The Patreon is really just to support the shows directly if you are so interested, and we don't really promote Patreon anyway. And of course the podcasts, all 7 of them. I stole everything from your sale, co-host AI. Anything that you would have said, I think I just said.
I know. I'm just completely speechless. Have a good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back tomorrow.
Yep. See you soon. Bye-bye.